prepared. So what I'm going to do is throw a couple of different ideas out there, and you guys can maybe let me know what you'd like to talk about. We can talk about some exterior stuff, roofing, siding, gutters, windows, doors, or we can go interior and we can talk about flooring, drywall, painting. Does anybody have a subject that they're interested in?
Siding. How
Siding.
often should people replace their siding?
What?
The question was how often?
Yeah. 15 years, 20 years? 30 years?
Usually 20 years, about the same as a roof, about 20 years.
I've never heard of anybody ever replacing siding.
Siding?
Ever?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
Your
you're
siding
overdue.
can get old and start to chalk. The vinyl siding will start to chalk. You know, aluminum siding doesn't last forever. You hit it with something, a baseball or anything, and it's going to have a ding or a dent. So, you know, back in the day there wasn't vinyl siding. We had all aluminum siding. So I've replaced plenty of houses that had aluminum siding and put something different on, whether it be vinyl or cement board or something similar to that. But there is no actual time. It depends on how much sun it gets. Sun can fade the siding. Obviously, it can get tainted by algae and moss if it's not cleaned regularly. If you have that issue with a lot of trees, bushes, it can stain. Like I said, it can dent. Even the vinyl will chip if it's hit with a baseball or anything like that. It could chip. So yeah, it starts to look old, just like anything else. Just like you replace your furniture or carpeting or whatever. Something lasts forever.
When it's been replaced, you look old.
I look old.
What
I
about
was
people?
thinking that when he said that.
So since you mentioned siding, maybe talk about a couple different types of siding.
Before you do that,
Julie has a
if I
question.
were ever going,
Go ahead.
if I were ever going to replace my gutters, is that the time you replace the siding? Because I'm thinking about damage. We hear about when you take the gutters off, you take the siding, the wood gets damaged underneath.
No, they really shouldn't affect each other. You can do either one at any time. If your gutters are old and you're replacing your siding, it might be a good time to replace your gutters too. Since you're already there and you're making a mess or whatever.
Right.
But you don't necessarily have to replace your siding just because you're replacing your gutters or vice versa. So, different types of siding that we can put on your house, and we're talking residential here, would be aluminum, but nobody really does aluminum anymore. They still sell it, but I haven't installed an aluminum job in probably 25 years or more. Vinyl is the big thing everybody likes to do, and there's all types of vinyl products that we can do. There's regular vinyl siding that comes in different sizes, a 4x4, 5x5, there's a 3x3, and that's just, you know, how wide the panels are. So that's your basic vinyl siding. And then we get into the other vinyl products that simulate different types of things. There's a vinyl product that simulates stone. If you like that stone face, we can do a vinyl product that simulates stone. And if you looked at it from the curb, you wouldn't know the difference. It would look just like brick. There are vinyl products that simulate wood shapes. We've done a lot of the scallop type stuff that people like to put on the gables. You'll do maybe regular siding on the house and then complement it or offset it with a scallop vinyl shake, which is very nice.
Chuck, you mentioned, was it stone or brick or both? You can do either or?
Either one, yeah, there's lots of products, lots of different manufacturers. You know, if you were interested in something like that, or you had somebody, I would bring them samples and they could look at it. But either one, stone, brick, it's amazing the vinyl products they have out today. All the trim around the windows, we can do in either a composite or a vinyl or PVC. It's really taken over. We don't use a lot of wood anymore. It's all simulated stuff.
And it looks just like.
Which is, it lasts longer, it doesn't rot, and basically all you gotta do is hose it down if it gets dirty once in a while. Unlike wood, you have to maintain every 3 to 5 years, you have to scrape and paint it.
Right.
Just like the decking, same thing.
Right.
You know, we do very little wood deck anymore.
It's all Trex.
all composite or simulated plastic. Railings are all PVC or again composite. We do very little wood.
Never needs to be treated.
Everybody's had a wood deck and seen wood decks, and what they do is, 2 months to a year later, they're starting to splinter and split, and they're subject to all the elements. And you have to maintain them, and people don't necessarily maintain them enough, and then they get to the point where they just have to replace it after 10 or 15 years. Whereas the other stuff, the plastic, is going to last 20, 25 years.
Is it really lasting, the
The
composite?
composite, it is, yes. I've done jobs that are 20 years old, and they look like they were done a year ago. So it does hold up very well.
But they do,
They have, a lady across the way from us just got a few years ago, she got, it looks like Spanish tiles on the roof, they're like an orangey color, are they?
Yeah, that's
That's not brick, right? That's what
no,
you're talking
that's
about?
actually cement tile.
Oh, it is?
I've actually done one of them.
Are they expensive?
Very, very
Are they?
expensive.
I love
It's
it.
probably the most expensive roof you can get.
Go to Vegas.
It's above slate, and slate's very expensive. I've done slate roofs too, on bank buildings up in Hiltonia. But the Spanish tile, we did one in Princeton, again, it's like 30 years ago. But it took months to do the roof. Each piece is cemented into place. So it's very complicated, very complex. The material's very expensive. It's very heavy. You can't carry a lot up on the roof at a time. Nowadays, I'm sure they use a conveyor to get it up there. They're not carrying it up anymore. Or a
So they
ladder.
don't have that, vinyl or whatever composite.
I haven't
to
seen it in
imitate it.
Spanish tile. I haven't seen a vinyl product that simulates that. But they do have products that simulate slate. I've used them. There's one called Super Door or Super Slate. And it's a composite material. It's as heavy as slate, but it doesn't cost as much as slate. A little bit easier to install because it comes pre-drilled with the nail holes, whereas slate you have to punch your own nail holes. So they do make products that simulate slate, but I haven't seen. Doesn't mean they don't make it. In our area, you don't see a lot of that stuff, so I don't think my distributors have not had it. I haven't seen it, on the boards or anything. So I don't think they make that in a vinyl product. Not on our East Coast anyway, I don't think.
Now, slate roof will last you 100 years, right?
Yeah, I have slate roofs that I maintain that are over 100 years old. Ralph, you had a question?
yeah, on the composite. When composites first came out for decking, people were throwing them away because they were so hot, the kids would burn their feet. I heard that they're changing that. They changed the composition of them. They're not holding heating. Is that correct?
You're right, and I've seen that. My own kids have gotten burnt on
My dogs do every day.
Their paws get burned.
Our
Yeah.
deck is so freaking hot.
Yeah, I mean, anything you do, even wood is going to get hot when it's like
Not
this
like that.
outside.
No, this
No.
is, I mean, I got a dog that'll sit there and wait until either I open the door or I hose it down before she'll walk, because and they
They-
walk.
Yeah.
They have made changes
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
It's not as bad as it used to be. They
Which deck?
recognize the
The new one?
Yeah,
problem.
my new one.
You didn't use the better composite material?
I use whatever.
So yours isn't wood?
I think we put Trex on your house.
Uh-huh.
I think we use Trex. But all the manufacturers now, they have recognized the problem within the last 5 or 10 years, and they've been making changes to the composition of the materials. So it's not as bad as it used to be. But I don't think whatever you put,
Great.
it's going to get hot. I mean, you put anything outside and sit it in the sun,
Yeah.
it's going to get hot.
But
Put
also
rubs on.
on the other end, it's also very slippery. And I only knew that because my mother-in-law has it, and where if it's really rainy or ice, you have to be very careful because the composite is,
More slippery than wood?
yeah.
I have not found a problem with that. I don't care what surface you got. If it's ice, it's ice.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
hers-
slippery.
Hers is also wooder. I don't know.
Well,
and
that
hers
could
is
be a
Trex.
water problem. If she's out ponding or standing water, that's
No.
going to freeze up more.
Yeah, no, it's just a regular, I don't know what it is, but
I have not really seen that problem. I mean, I've seen ice problems that
Yeah.
people have, and it's usually because the water's draining the wrong way or something on the sidewalk, and ice is up, we have to change a gutter or downspout direction. But, on the decks, I haven't really had a lot of complaints about that. I
More
haven't
for
seen it.
steps.
Yeah, well, if you live in the states where you have snow and ice,
I never
keep
have
some
snow.
calcium on hand
You
and.
know when I find out the truck is the slippriest? There's a frost on it.
Yeah, one thing you do wanna know is that you don't wanna use salt on these composite products. If you put anything on it, use calcium, the salt will deteriorate the material,
Really?
yes.
I just make the kids go out there and shovel it.
Stone. Oh my God.
But if you're gonna put anything down as far as the salt, use a calcium, not a salt.
Yeah, I was really
And that goes for
surprised.
concrete sidewalks too, or porches.
Really,
Charles,
Now, we'll back a little off the, do you know where you can get flagstone? Do you use flagstone, like years ago?
flagstones, we used to be able to get at Yardville Supply,
Yeah.
but they closed down. I don't know if Mershon has them.
But Timothy's.
There's a place in Lambertville.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a.
I forget the name of them, Timothy's maybe. They're in Hamilton, right?
They're on 130 down
130.
in West.
That's a
Virginia.
hardscaping product, which we don't do. I have not done it myself. I mean, maybe for myself in my yard, I have done a little bit in my old house, but that's not something that we would do, so I don't really know a lot about the flagstone. But I know Yardville Supply used to have all that stuff. I used to go there, on a daily basis to get anything I needed. But now you'd have to shop around a little bit. Maybe Hamilton Supply could get it, possibly.
There's a place called Delaware Quarries up in Lumberville, PA. It's just above
Yeah.
Lamberton, like
I
go to
just
the
want to
Newell
look to
side.
put it in front of it.
And they have like every kind of stone, bluestone.
Yeah, any
all
type
that.
of
PA
masonry
stone.
place like
Ace
that.
stone.
It's called Delaware Quarries. I have the phone number.
Tim,
AC right over by Quaker Ridge Mall,
did you get your question answered, Tim?
Yeah.
Youngs Road.
Yeah, yeah.
So for
Ace
people
Supply.
like,
Ace.
Oh,
And I think they
Shop,
have a
shop.
sister
For
store.
people
Say
like-
that again?
Ace
that
Stone
already have
on
trucks
Youngs
that
Road
are saying,
in
hey,
Hamilton.
it's too hot. Is there any
Lawrence,
remedy you could do
whatever it is.
once it's down?
Other than put up.
I can't say that I know of any. Hose it down, but then once it dries up, it's gonna get hot again. That might keep it a little cooler for 2 or 3 hours.
What?
An awning over the area that you're gonna have a
Right.
table or
Yeah,
something.
is there any remedy to
Or an umbrella,
Um,
big umbrella.
You can get a deck carpet where it lets the water go through. Hosing it down doesn't work. If it's hot out, hosing it down doesn't work real well because you
Yeah,
hose
it's
it
not
down
gonna
and
work.
it
Dries right up.
it dries real quick.
Right.
Yeah, that's a shame, okay.
Or
I
just
know
stay
personally,
inside.
my
The
deck,
top.
obviously, like everybody's like the deck, in that severe heat, gets hot.
Yeah.
And I have a large awning and a large umbrella that gives me a lot of shade. And I think a lot of people do that because, not only that, because rain too. If you want to be outside and if it's
Yeah.
raining, you get protection from the rain.
My son just built a floating deck on his place.
A floating deck,
I think that's what he calls it.
It's magical.
it means it's not attached to the house.
As a carpet.
It means it's not
Yes,
attached to the
not
house.
attached to the house.
Right.
So, but he did tress, and I'm thinking, why didn't he think about the heat? Because he has a young lady that could be out there, so.
Well,
maybe
you
people
gotta,
don't
you gotta think
that.
about it. What are your
I'm
options?
not saying
Wood-
that's the one.
Wood's not gonna last. And any vinyl or composite product you get, it's gonna get hot. Just like anything else, I don't think there's much you can do
Not
about
on
it.
track.
It's nature of the beast.
Just compromises. Have you ever done a metal
Yeah,
shingle?
this is for trucks.
No, but I've seen them. I have not done that, but I have seen that.
Yeah, I have a prospect now that we have to say we can't install on that. We'll do metal roof.
I've done a couple of standing seam tin,
Yeah. We'll install
Aluminum.
solar on those, but
or steel, but I've seen that go on. And they're just single panels, maybe 12-inch by 12-inch, and they put them down just like slate, one piece at a time.
what are they,
I've
pre-drilled
seen-
holes? that you
I think
mesh
they
around?
come pre-drilled. Yeah, I've never put them down. There's not a huge call for them, especially in this area again.
I haven't heard of it until this guy said, he doesn't know anything about it, it was on the roof when
I
he
have
bought
heard
the
of
house.
it, never done it.
So slate, you're punching holes in stone? Like-
Yeah, you're getting the slate right from the quarry. So it comes all rough, you know, you gotta punch your own holes in it, you gotta cut it in your valleys and,
How much waste?
You have to use water and all to do that?
there's waste involved, just like anything else. You gotta figure 10 to 50% for waste.
Just
Because
like
you're
punching
cutting
holes
to
in
pieces
stone.
into the valley,
Right.
cutting around the dormers.
Is it? Okay.
Slate is very, very soft.
Do you have to do like water and everything when you're putting them holes in slate and like
Water?
marble and all? Yeah, like,
No,
it
well,
just
not
goes through
marble,
with a drill.
slate. Marble, I've never seen marble on a
Oh
roof.
no, I mean, but those kind of material, like slate.
The
'cause
slate,
I
yeah,
know
we
when you
punch our own holes in it, unless it's
and it doesn't
a
crack.
simulated slate. They'll come pre-drilled.
Interesting.
Anybody else?
Do the Trex boards, I get it, thinking of what my son did, it's like 16 foot, on the center. Do they work
Well,
in the heat?
good question, because when we first started doing this, you know, the code on your joist is 16-inch on center. And we were putting these Trex products on the joist at 16-inch centers. We started to see a little bit of an issue with warping and movement in the boards with the 16-inch fan. They actually changed the code to 12 inches. So now your joists, if you're gonna do this composite decking, your joists have to be 12 inches on center. So that was the code for about 5 years. Then they changed it back to 16 inches, the code, because they started to make the products more sturdy.
Okay.
So now we're at 16-inch on center. I think at your house, that's where we're gonna like have a hot tub or something on the area, we can go 12-inch on center to get more support.
I don't know if we went 12 inch, we just doubled up.
Well, we do go 12-inch on center, depending on the situation, but the code is 16-inch, you can get
Well,
away
if I
with
fall
that.
through, we'll know we did 16.
You'll
If I
never
don't-
fall through. Not what we do.
No, I know, I know.
Yeah, no, I
All
was
right.
just concerned about it.
Everybody happy?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Who